Hi guys, it's Dr. Mohammad Usman and today I am back with another video on the topic of human resource planning and job analysis. It is second part of the human resource video which I have made yesterday. So in this video we will be talking about the basics of human resource planning, its functionality and basics of some job analysis and specification. Later on in next video I will be talking about recruitment and other domains of job analysis and human resource planning, and then we will be moving toward the main goal of strategic human resource planning. So first of all we will be talking about the human resource planning. Basically it is about how many qualified people are necessary to carry out the assigned activities, or how many people are available, or if anything must be done to ensure that any supply, personal demand, or any future demands are met. So basically human resource planning will be consisting of working around people and making sure that all resources are used to hire or recruitment or complete the processes of human resource. And further, if I go into the definition given by David and Stefan, I would like to talk about that human resource planning is a process which is given by the organization to know that what is the right number and right number of people at the right place and at the right time. It is also about capability of the organization to complete the task efficiently, effectively with the help of the organization processes and completing its overall objectives. The human resource planning further also translate the human organization objectives and plans into number of workers needed to meet those objectives. So it will be working around utilizing all the resources of the organization to make sure that right person is hired at the right time. And further in human resource planning we will see that there will be some challenges and some focuses and process that will further define the different subparts of human resource planning, and will tell us how this process works and how we can plan efficiently according to the organization requirement, and how we can plan for the human resources. So first of all we would talk about the importance of HRP, human resource planning. So the human resource planning is important because we have to know that what are the future recruitment needs, what are the future person required, what are the future jobs. It will also help us further in the strategic planning, which is the strategic human resource management. So at this moment defining this concept is important for our next topic of the strategic human resource management. It is also about creating the highly talented personals and managing the global strategies of the organization. It also works for the foundation of personal functions and processes, and it will also increase the investment in the human resources department and the process. Also it will help you to overcome the resistance by the employees and by the organization or the environment. So the human resource planning is very important, and without it you cannot move further in your organization for hiring good talent or utilizing the resources of the organization for your meeting the organization goals. So further if we talk about the factors that affect the human resource planning, because as we know that at everything we have some risk or factors that can affect a process. So similarly, like for human resource planning, we have a problem that we have to first select that what is the type of the organization and what is the previous strategies of those organization. Also we have to note the organization growth cycle and planning cycle, that what are the working of the organizations, how the organization works, what is the hiring cycle, how the organization plans previously. Then we will be focusing on the environmental uncertainties that will also link together toward the governmental uncertainties, and that will help us to analyze what is the effect of the environment on the employees. Then the factors that also affect the human resource planning is the time zone. Every country and every different time zone will have a different type of human resource planning, and it will also affect the forecasting information that is required for the human resource planning. As all of this we have to plan in advance, so we need to forecast the number of recruitment, the number of people required for the organization, the factors that can affect the environmental cycle or the organization objectives. It is also important that we need to first know the nature of job being required by the organization in the future or the present. So this factor also affects the forecasting of the human resource planning. Then there is another basic problem that we have to outsource most of the time our organization processes or the recruitment processes to other third parties when the persons are not available in the local time zone. So when it happens, then we have to rely on the different third party organization, and the challenge is more that they all the recruitment and all the initial screening had to be done by them. So we need to understand and trust those organizations for hiring of these people. So these factors are not just limited. Then other than that, the organization growth factors, the organization cycle factors, the CEO of the organization, the top management factors, these all affect the human resource demand forecast. Basically, human resource demand forecast is the process of estimating the number of people required to meet the future needs of the organization. It will also include that what number of people and what positions are required for the organization in the next future, and what jobs need to be created for the people. So if you have a good human resource planning department, then you will be easy to analyze and forecast the what number of people required by the organization in the future and presently. And then there are some forecasting techniques used by the human resource planning. One of them is ratio trend analysis, that is based on ratio of people previously in the organization and history of the organization, and comparing them with the other organization or available organization. Then we have the regression analysis, that is very successful, but it is a tough technique. Then we have work study techniques and Delphi techniques and managerial judgment. So most of the time what works is the Delphi techniques and the managerial judgments, which basically help us to review and get input from our expert judgments or other departmental managers who give us the input that number of field or person required for a specific job. Also, forecasting technique will further help us to address the issue of the growth in the organization and the issue related to the future jobs and technology that will help us the organization to be improved. Then if you're talking about the forecast of the HR demand, then it is also the supply forecast. So basically supply forecast will be working similarly in the supply chain fashion, like we have first demand and then we have to complete the supply. The supply forecast determines whether the HR will be able to procure or hire the number of personnel required by the organization or not. This is the number of people which will be available likely within or outside the organization. So HR forecast will help us to know that either these persons are available in the market for the specific job, or we have to go overseas, or we have to go hiring into the other countries. So basically big organizations have bigger human resource demand and supply, and they have a bigger department to manage all those things. The supply analysis of the HR further covers the existing human resources, internal source of supply, external source of supply. So internal source of supply will be related to the number of employees which are already present in the organization and which can be used to fill up the next slot. They can be promoted, they can be given training to fill up those slots to save the time and resources for hiring new personnel. External source of supply is dependent on the people to be hired from outside the organization, and this is basically the tough part for the human resources, because when it is external to the organization, then they have to go through several different processes. They have to go through again screening, medical examination, and further things which we will see in the job analysis coming up next. But about the internal employees of the organization, we already have the medical record, we already have the screening, and we can just train them to improve them for the specific job required by the organization, or we can just give them a number of second role to them and increase some about their salary, so they will be working on the same scale and same work for the organization. So for the HR, the organization should look toward increasing their internal source of supply rather than using the external source of supply all the time. So further we will move toward the job analysis. That is the basic core part of the human resource department. First they have to analyze that what is the job required by the organization, and it is a process of studying and collecting information related to the operations and responsibilities of the specific job. So when they are performing the job analysis, they have to mention the job description and the job specification. They should first know that what is the job requirement for the person, what the person has to do in the organization, what is the role of that person in the organization, and what activities he will be performing. So first of all, the HR department conducts the job analysis for a specific job post, and they define the job description, which usually used by all the organization and which is given to you and which you sign in your contract. So when they are conducting the job analysis, this involves some basic steps. First of all, it is collecting and recording job information that can be done by previously job descriptions given over the internet, or the given job description which have been previously made by the HR or other organization. We can compare to them. Then we have to check the collected information for job accuracy, because we have to give that person some activities and tasks. So we have to be clear, and by this analysis we can have a clear contract, and we can make that employee abide by that contract. So it is very important at the job analysis that you put the right activities and the right role in the job analysis. Then based on the collected information and accuracy of the information, there is a job description that is written, and that is then used to determine the skill, abilities and knowledge of the person that is applying for that job. So basically most of the jobs have a long list of responsibilities which are given to that certain person, and as the job description or the position moves in the higher hierarchy, there are more job descriptions and more job activities given to a certain person. Then this job description is not limited to one time. HR has to update it according to the new jobs and the future jobs in the market, and they have to continuously improve the job analysis. So basically the job analysis in the HR is a very time taking process, because it has to involve the job duties, responsibilities, the reporting relationship, working conditions, supervisory responsibilities. Other than that, it will include the further obligations by the employees and what they have to done and what they cannot do in the organization. So job description can fill up the basic activities, the core activities, and it can be further divided into managerial activities, team activities, and then development activities, programming activities. So basically depending on the nature of the job description activities can be divided, and they can be used to hire employees. So if the job description is clear, then an employee can be hired easily. Relating to the job description, we have the job specification. Basically it is the list of the human requirement that is about the education, skills and personality and so on. So job description will the basic requirements that is required by the employee. According to that, they will give the ad in the market and the person will apply. Other than that, they will have a job specification which will include that either it is a master requirement for a specific job, bachelor's requirement, or bachelor's in a specific field, or what skills are required. Like if a job is about programming, so you have to programming skills, or if a job is about managerial position, so you have managerial skills, or if a person is going to be hired on a human resource job or human resource manager, so do you have a job, do you have a certificate in the human resource, are you certified human resource professional? So it can be a list of questions or easily given job description, or experience, number of years required by the organization. So when we are conducting the job analysis, it consists of different processes that are important to the job facts. First of all, the job description can contain the job title, location, summary, duties, machine tools, material, supervision, working condition and hazards. If the job is basically in the oil and gas field, or in a hazard field, or in a risky field, so we have different items available to that. And not limited to this one, we can include further job description, and we can further ask the employees a different question about the relocations and other things. So similarly, like in job specification, we have education, experience, training, initiative, effort required, responsibilities, communication skills. Then we can have emotional skills, managerial skills, unusual sundry sides. And if you have a specific requirement, then there is also a medical examination that will be conducted at the later stages. So job analysis consists of a series of this sample that I have put over here. So this has to be made by the human resource department or the human resource executive for each of the job, for each of the employee. And if I talk about the use of the job analysis information, we can use the job description and job specification for recruitment and selection, for performance appraisal, for salary and wages, training and development. Then we can also use for the career planning of that employee, health and safety, employee discipline. So basically, if an employee is not able to conduct or complete his own duty hours, or he is not able to perform his duties actually, then we will compare it back to the job description, and they will tell that employee that this is written in your job contract. So most of the time when employee forgets about his job duties, the HR can remind him in a very easy manner by using the job description and his contract. Also they use the job performance for the job performance, like they compare the job description and the job specification in the performance appraisal, and they ask that employee that whether you have conduct this thing or not, whether you are working on this or not. Like similarly in academic position, they ask you about in performance appraisal by the research and development, number of research paper written, number of credit hours taught. So similarly, like it is in job analysis information, so it can be also further used for knowing the salary and the wages given to a specific employee. So it cannot be just limited to this information. This can be further used to hire next person. This can be further used to compare different jobs together in the market. So job analysis information is very important for the HR executive and the HR organization to conduct and hire the right person at the right time at the right location. So this video will be up to here, and in the next video I will be talking about the recruitment cycle of the HR planning and the further cycle and processes. So if you like my video, do visit my YouTube channel, and you can just comment over there, and you can also send me email. And if you want any concept to be taught in English, Urdu or English, then you can place a request in the comments. And also you can get certificate for this training video, like previously I have told in my previous videos. You can go over my YouTube channel and you can watch this video, and you can follow this step to get your certificate, and it will be just given to at your doorstep. So what you are waiting for? Go today to my YouTube channel and like and subscribe to it. Thank you.